Hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Jesse Gaberkoff, the founder of 8 Digit Studios. First off, before we start this tutorial on audio to animation in the preview that you saw a few days ago, I would like to thank everybody for taking the time and making sure that you guys stay with me. I know it's been some troubling times. I've had a lot of troubling times. But I'm starting to kind of finally bring things back on track on where things need to be in my life, and kind of starting to pay back the people that I owe. So just stick with me, guys. If I owe you money, I owe you money, and I'm actually working 3 jobs to make sure I can afford to pay you back and then still live comfortably at the same time. So that is out of the way. Let's jump right on into it. Today is going to be the tutorial animation for the video that you guys saw not too long ago. It's called Music Animation Test. Basically what it is this video right here. And you can see how the particles effects move with the bass of the music, and you can see the meter right here, the audio meter kind of just going along with the beat of the music, and it looks really cool. It does. It looks amazing. Mute this here because it's kind of getting annoying. And it looks amazing. It looks good. It gives a nice animation. Keeps your people in your video. If you're making these cool little music animation videos, it keeps them entertained, especially if they're high or stoned or something like that. It's just something fun for them to watch. All right. So let's jump right on into the tutorial on how to do this. First thing we got to open up is Adobe After Effects. With Adobe After Effects, you will be needing to download the particular effect from Trapcode. If you don't already have that, it is something that you need in order to get the particle effects. There's no other way around that. The cool thing about the meter, the bass meter and all that stuff, it's already pre-built into Adobe After Effects. So you don't actually have to worry about that because it's already pre-built in. I'm also using Windows 10 evaluation in case anybody asks. I'm using the Windows 10 technical preview just to kind of see if it works with the rest of my programs. And so far, it has been fairly good, and I haven't had any complaints about it so far. So let's go ahead and get on into it. We're going to go to our project file right here just so we can start dragging in all the information. You can't see my screen here, but I actually have a second screen with all of my stuff in it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pull in on from the second side. I'm going to pull in my logo. There we go. I'm going to merge the layers. If you have a logo already, if you don't actually have a logo and you're trying to get something animated around a logo of yours, it would be best to actually do it in Photoshop or Illustrator first and then import it into Adobe After Effects at a later time. Adobe After Effects is not the best drawing tool. Obviously it is an animation tool, so this is what this is primarily used for. So if you have a logo and you want to draw it up, do it in Photoshop first, save it as the actual PSD file, and then import it into Adobe After Effects. That way you get the best quality available. The next thing we have to import is the music. Before we actually create a new composition, we want to make sure that the music that we have is going to be, or it's going to match up with the music. So I'm going to pull in the same song that I used in the preview that you guys saw a few days ago. It's called We Were Young. It is by Odesza. If you guys want the download link, it's in the description below. Check them out on iTunes, Soundcloud, all that stuff. So now we have this here. And simply by clicking on it, highlighting it, you get to see how long it is right here. So it's 3 minutes, 12 seconds, and 7 frames. Now that we have that information, we can import that into a new composition. I already have mine done here because I obviously did this before. 1920, 1080, 2997. You can pretty much set these to whatever you want. These are just my specs. If you want to use these, the quality is amazing. I'll also go over the rendering process with you when we're finished with this. So we're going to hit OK. Now we have a new black box, our composition. Cool stuff, right? First thing we got to do is we got to drag into our music into our comp here. Check the audio levels, the waveform, just to make sure that it is working. It is the music proper. So we have this in here. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to duplicate this, and you'll understand why we'll do this in a second. So you'll understand why we're doing this. So just make sure you create a second, and we're going to rename it B and T. And you'll understand why we're going to do this. We're also going to mute this track. We're going to leave this here. and we're going to mute this track so you won't hear this one, you'll just hear the bottom one. Whew, had a burp there for a second. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to right click on the composition, we're going to go to new, and we're going to go to solid. We're going to make it a white comp, we're going to put 1920 1080 so it fills the entire frame. We're going to hit OK. Alright, so now we have this new comp in here, and we're going to start off with the audio wave. And then we'll get into the particles a little bit later into this tutorial. So the particle waves are a little bit more complicated. As I said, you have to have the trapcode particular effect. If you don't have that, I'll leave a link in the description where you can actually download it. It does cost some money, so just keep that in mind. So the first thing we got to do is we got to take our audio channel and convert it into a seeable wave. So we got to go in here, we got to go to our effects and presets and type in audio. And what we're going to take is we're going to take the audio spectrum, not the audio waveform. So we're taking the audio spectrum and we're going to drag it onto our white solid one. And we're going to rename this. I like to rename things because it keeps it nice and organized. So we're going to name this spectrum. Okay. Now from here, to actually get this to link up, because if you notice we run across this right here, it's not actually doing anything. What we want to do is we want to have it sync up with the audio. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on our spectrum, go to our effects panel, and we're going to select the audio layer. We're going to select We Were Young, not the BNT file, but the actual file that you have. Now keep in mind you can use any song you want. This is with any song. So it doesn't have to be the same exact one. You can just do the same thing I'm doing. Alright, now with my audio forms, I like them completely together, whereas you see these are dots, and I'll show you what they look like. You can kind of see how it is. They have these lines right here, and they go on both sides, so it's on the bottom side and the top side. To get it on a single side, all you have to do is go to side options, and then just select side A or side B if you want it on bottom or to top. We're also going to change the color of the inside color. I like mine with a nice blue, so we're going to add this here. Okay, so there's that. And now we also have to adjust our end frequency, because your start frequency is at 20. You can drop that all the way down if you want to, but I'm going to leave mine at 20 because 20 is usually the right amount of hertz for a good bass section. And so your low ends will be on this side right here, starting a frequency of 20 hertz. And then we're going to go all the way up to here, which is 2000 hertz. We're going to drop that down. I would say around 500 hertz is a good round. Probably a little bit more than that, so we'll go 700 hertz. So your spectrum pretty much covers the entire span. So let's go ahead and increase the frequency bands. When you increase the frequency bands, you're going to see it start to fill in a little bit more and actually look like a wave. So you're going to go as much as you possibly can, and I think it's only like 4,100 something. So I go all the way over 4,096. You see this nice, cool band. It just looks very cool. Alright, and then we can adjust the height. So if you want the height to be a little bit higher, or if you need it to be lower, you can do the same thing. And then one thing is a very cool thing to do. If you wanted to do this, you can add a glow effect to it. So we can go in here and type in glow and take our stylize and add that to it, so it has a nice little glow effect to it. So we'll add this here. We'll change the original colors. We'll change to A and B color only, and we'll change the A colors. We'll change it to like a light blue, same thing, and then we'll leave the second one. We'll actually change it to the same exact color because I like blue. Blue is a cool color. And then we're going to change the threshold, the intensity, all of this, the radius. So let's reduce the threshold a little bit. When you reduce the threshold, it reduces it increases the glow intensity. So we can increase the intensity a little bit. And then we can change the glow radius. We can expand it out a little bit so it kind of just looks really cool with that. And now you have this really cool Tron looking type thing where it's just this awesome waves form. And you can do that if you want to. It's just something that I think looks cool, would be a cool option. I'm not going to actually do that with mine since I like the very flat and crisp colors. So I'm actually going to delete that. But that's just something you can kind of cool do with that. Alright, now the next thing is getting this to a circle form or any type of form. What people don't understand is you can actually change this to any type of form that you want. So we're going to bring in our logo here. And there's two ways you can do this. The two ways you can form this. It's all done using a mask, so it doesn't matter where you want to put it. If you want to make it circle the entire logo, you can do that, but you can also create a new create a new layer for this, or a mask, and you can pretty much just cover this if you wanted to. And just kind of show you an example. I'm not actually gonna show it, like do the entire thing, but just kind of show you exactly what I mean. So we'll do that, and then I'm gonna get rid of this, kind of show you exactly what I'm talking about with this one. Go back to our effects preset panel, and then we're going to change the path tool. We're going to change it to mask 1, so you get this really funky looking thing, and you can change it to side B to get on the outside. And from there you can change it, you can adjust it so it looks cool around whatever logo you want. That's just, you know, something cool that you can do, but we're just going to circle the entire thing. So I'm going to delete this mask. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to highlight this again. We're going to bring up our main logo. We're going to go over to our tools, and I'm going to drag out the ellipse tools. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click, I'm going to hold down the shift key at the same time and drag outwards so I get a perfect circle. Now that I have this perfect circle here, I'm going to use this and I'm going to adjust it to where I want right here. And then we're going to adjust the main logo so it would fit that as well. There we go. This should be good right there. There we go. Pretty much perfect. Wow, I did that very well. Just a little bit more. Alright, there we go. Alright, so now that we have this, you can make your final little touches to it and attachments, whatever. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to change the path to mask 1. And now you'll see this cool where it starts actually circling the entire logo. You'll notice that it cuts off. All you'll have to do to fix this is go to your ellipse tool, go to your rectangle tool, and just make another mask along the entire frame. So that way you don't have to worry about it jumping out of the frame or cutting off at a certain location. Creating a second mask will just give you the entire thing. Alright, so that actually is it for the spectrum part, which is the really, I would say it's not the hardest thing. The next part coming up gets a little bit more complicated, but it's completely worth it as seen in the preview before. You'll see also, before we actually get into that, you'll see in certain portions right here where the mask is, you'll see where it kind of cuts off. And to eliminate that, all you really want to do is just adjust the end frequency so you can actually reduce or increase it. So we'll put it to 1,000 hertz, and you'll notice that it kind of goes away. Because the end frequency, it's not picking up as much end frequencies, it actually reduces the size of that, and you won't actually see any clipping at the very top. Alright. Quickly, we're just going to add a new composition solid. This is just as a background, so I'm going to add this here, drop it below this, the spectrum, and we're going to rename this background or BG, and I'm going to add a radiant to it, so, or ramp. We're going to generate a ramp to it. We're going to turn it into a radial, because I like radial. Radial seems like a very cool color. I mean, radial seems like a very cool type of gradient. And I'm going to change it to a green. End color is going to be kind of like a purplish. I like purple. Kind of more of a darker purple, though. Like so. Like, that's a cool one right there. Then I can adjust it on this side, bring it over here. There we go. That looks cool. Alright, so now the next thing we have to do from here is start generating the particles, and this is where particular from trap codes come in. This one is going to be, like I said, it's going to be a lot more complicated, and this is where the second B and T comes in. So, in order for us to actually get the preview, like the one that was in the preview before, I would recommend that you watch the audio to animation tutorial. If you haven't done that before, if you haven't watched that video, I'll link it in the description below so you can watch that, because this is the exact same style that we're using. We're just linking it to something else instead of an actual text. So what we're going to do before we bring in our trap code particular, we are going to go into our effects and presets, and we're going to type in bass, B-A-S-S, and we're going to take our bass and treble, and we're going to add it to the B and T. Kind of see where it's coming in now, B and T, bass and treble. We're going to increase the bass all the way to 100 and reduce the treble all the way to -100. This is so we actually just get the bass, because the bass is the most predominant part about any type of music, because it's like boom, 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 boom. You feel it and you see it. You want to see it and you want to feel it at the same time, and this is what it's going to allow us to do. And now that we have that, we just go over to our B and T. We're going to unmute it so we can actually get keyframes. We're going to unmute it, we're going to right click on it, and we're going to go to keyframe assistant, and from here just convert audio to keyframes. It's very simple. It's going to create a new null object in this, so you don't have to worry about, you know, keyframing anything. It's very cool. The amplitude, all of it's, you'll see how this black bar right here, these are all keyframes. All we're going to do is we're going to click on our audio amplitude, we're going to click on left channel, hold down shift, click on right channel, and hit delete on the keyboard because we don't need those channels. Now we have an amplitude, which is really cool, and we don't have to make it 3D because we're not doing anything to it, so you'll never see it. It's not going to show up or anything like that. You don't have to worry about it. Now that we have this, now it's time to bring in the particle effects. So now we're going to bring in, we're going to go to right click, new, solid. We're going to hit OK. We're going to exit out of the effects and presets. We're going to go down to our trap code, and we're going to click on particular. We're going to bring that onto our white solid. We're going to rename this. We're going to name this particular. Alright. Now, playing around in particular can be a little bit complicated, so I'm going to make it very easy for you guys. All we're going to do is mess around with two things on this one. If you know how to work particular, you can change everything about it. This is just a basic way to do this, so we're just going to kind of learn it for right now. All you have to do is click the down arrow on emitter and particle. Those two are the two things that you need on this one. We're going to go down to particle, and we're going to change the life to 15 seconds. Where'd you go? What happened to you? We're going to change the life to 15 seconds, and we're going to go out to 15 seconds to show you kind of what it means. When you change the life, basically when it's on 3, the particles will only last 3 seconds at 100% velocity. So if you change it to 15 seconds, it'll actually expand to the entire screen. That way you don't have to worry about it ending or cutting off at a certain weird location in the middle of your screen. It kind of just looks full and nice. We're also going to change the particle type. You can do this if you want to. I always like changing mine to a glow sphere. And then the last thing is going to do is adjust the size. So I'm going to change this to a 1 radius on the particles. And then we're going to have to bring the particular down below our logo file. That way it's not on top. So it just kind of looks really cool. And now you're probably wondering, how the hell are we going to get this linked up with our audio amplitude? So what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down. Actually, we're actually going to take this. I'm sorry, there's another step to this. We're going to take this particular layer, this entire portion of it right here, and we're going to move it forward about 15 seconds. That way, whenever we start the video, there will already be particles in the system, because if you don't do that, if you start it out at the very beginning, the particle world will start at nothing. you'll see that it actually expands out. So what we want to do, as I said before, is just take it from 15 seconds, bring it all the way down. That way, whenever we start at the beginning, the particle system is already here. And then you can just expand the last few seconds to fill the rest of the void. Now that we have that there, we're going to have to make a new composition on particular or pre-comp. So we're going to go to pre-compose, and we're going to put, we're actually going to move all attributes into new composition, and we're just going to name this particular. And the reason why we're doing that is because we can't actually adjust the velocity without adjusting the entire layer. So we make a new composition, add a time warp to it, and link the time warp to the audio amplitude, so that way we can actually get it moving with the bass. So now we can go to our effects and presets. We can go to time, and we can go to time warp and drag it onto our pre-comp for particular. And we're going to adjust the speed to 100, or that's 10. We're going to go to 100. Your method and adjustment time by will be set automatically to pixel motion and speed. Just leave those as is. Don't even worry about those. Everything else is just fine. You can just leave it, just the speed at 100. Now what we have to do is we actually have to go down into our comp area, down arrow on the particular, go to effects, time warp. Now what we're going to do is we're going to hold down the Alt key and click on speed. When you do this, you're going to bring up your effects and expressions bar. We're not actually going to be typing in any expressions. We're only going to be using the pick whip to pick whip the speed to the slider adjustments on the audio amplitude. So here we go. Let's just pick whip this straight to our slider. And once we have this, you'll notice that it automatically adjusts. The speed will automatically adjust based off of whatever frame you're on, based off of the amplitude of the slider. So it's basically saying, okay, the bass is moving up so much in Z space at one time, it's 2.49, and we're going to adjust the speed with however much bass is on the frame at that moment. So if there's a lot of bass, increase the speed by a lot. Or if there's not too much bass, you just leave the slider pretty low in expressions. If you want to adjust it to something crazy, what you can do is you can click on your expressions bar here, and then you can hit the star, that's multiply it by 10, and then click out of your expressions bar to multiply that by 10. So you would actually get more of an aggressive moving particle system out of that. And with that, that is pretty much it. You can adjust the particle system to however you like. You can do it times 5, times 10, times 100, however fast you want to do it. And then from there, it's very simple. There's not much you can do. The video that you saw before this, the preview for this tutorial, I did not adjust the expressions any. It just left it as it is. I didn't multiply it by 10, and I rendered it straight off of that. And that's it, guys. That is how you make this, and you just basically let it render out, and that's it. And you can actually leave this. The nice thing about this is you can actually leave this file, and you can just adjust everything to a different song. So if you wanted to save this as an Adobe After Effects template, you just click on it, and you enter in a new song, and you just adjust all the files accordingly. So let's kind of show you. So if I wanted to change this, I just delete these two songs. Okay. Now you'll notice that everything is pretty much gone. We're going to enter in a different song. It's called Today from Odesza. We're going to go into our project file. We're going to click on Today, bring it down in here. Once again, duplicate it. Right click, rename B and T. We're going to go to our bass and treble. We're going to increase the bass to 100%, reduce it to negative 100, right click on it, audio amplitude, keyframe assistant, convert into keyframes. Let it do its nice little thing. There we go. We can delete the original audio amplitude, and then we can mute this, go to our spectrum, adjust the spectrum to our actual song, not the BNT, then you'll notice that it actually starts moving with the music, which is a nice thing again. And then to get the particles to move with it, all you would have to do is go into your particular, scroll down, and then pick whip this up into your audio amplitude. Or you're actually going to have to link it to the, there we go, delete these both channels, to your slider, and voila, it's adjusted to a new song. It took 5 minutes. It'll take some time for rendering, but it's completely readjustable to any song. It doesn't matter if you put your own logo in there. You can pretty much do whatever you want with it from there. And if you get a little bit more daring, you can play with a particular effect and play with all that kind of stuff. But that's it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know it was a little bit of a longer tutorial. I just got a question about it. You know, how do you make a good animation? I'm still trying to work on a different one right now on how to get something like a VU meter where it kind of adjusts with the sound. But yeah, if you guys have any questions about anything, my name is Jesse Gaberkoff. I will leave the links in the description to my Facebook and Twitter page. Just hit me up on that at any time if you have any questions and you want to learn how to do something on Adobe After Effects, Photoshop, Illustrator, Premiere, Dreamweaver, any of those programs. Just let me know and I'll be able to help you guys out. Okay, cool, guys. Well, like I said, thanks for watching and I will see you guys next time.